All right, good evening, everyone,
Good evening.
and welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast.
We're gone enough.
We are live streaming here today, live on YouTube, and our guest this evening is none other than the Honorable Mr. Perry Thurston. Mr. Perry Thurston, welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast.
Well, good evening, and it's a pleasure to be here with the Adams Brothers. I've been waiting on this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We know you're busy and you're out there on the campaign trail, and you're making appearances all over Broward County, man. And I know you're out there campaigning real hard. So it's all about timing sometimes, but we got you here, so we may as well get you while we got you. You know.
That's right.
You got me. You certainly got me.
And I'm certainly got you here.
I'm thankful for the opportunity to talk to you and your listeners.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Mr. Thurston, why don't you go ahead on and introduce yourself to the voters here in Broward County that's going to be voting for you. Tell them all about you and all the offices that you have held and what makes you the best qualified candidate for the new position of the Broward County Tax Collector.
Well, thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself to some and to say hello to others. I'm Perry Thurston. I'm the former state senator. I'm a Democratic leader in the Florida Senate and former state representative, where I was also Democratic leader. But, you know, if I had to introduce myself, I would tell you that I'm one of 4 generations of Thurstons right here in Broward County. Born and raised, went to the public schools right here in Broward County, graduate with a finance degree from one of the best HBCUs in the nation. That's Morehouse College, where I went to play a little ball back there in the day. But then I came back home and was coaching some Little League sports and working in the banking industry, where I decided to go to law school. Went over to the University of Miami, where I earned my Juris Doctor degree, returned and been practicing law in this community for over 30 years. I had an opportunity. I'm married. I've got 2 children, a lovely wife, and they're out there trying to change the world in their own strides. They're going off to Philadelphia and D.C. and doing their thing. But I had an opportunity in 2006 to run for the Florida House of Representatives. I was elected to that position and went on, as I said, to become the Democratic leader in the Florida House, working on a number of issues, including restoration of rights and health care. From there, I went on to run for senator, and I was elected there. Went on to work on some major issues, and where I was the Democratic leader in the Florida Senate. Now, I'm running for this position because I've been working with the county as a co-bond counsel. And what that means is that I work on major projects with the county, work with the mayor of Broward County and the county manager. And I've done that now for over 25 years. So I'm familiar with the county. I'm familiar with the people. And one of the reasons why currently our tax collector is an appointed position. We voted in 2017 that every county had to have an elected tax collector. Now, the county commission run the office now. I'm happy to let you know that each and every county commissioner who has endorsed for this position has endorsed me. And that would be whether you talk about Bogan, whether you talk about Hazel Rogers, Tim Ryan, Commissioner Geller, and Commissioner McKenzie. All have endorsed me for this position, and they're the individuals who actually run the county commission right now. I'm looking forward to transforming this office to the type of office Broward counties can be well appreciate. The current county tax collector's office is a small version of what we will have. Our neighbors to the north, Palm Beach County, have no less than 7-8 offices. Here in Broward County, we have 1 office downtown. We're too big of a county for that. We deserve better. And I'm going to make sure we get a better system. And one of the heavy lifts that you all should be aware of is that we're going to have to take over all of the 5 driver's license bureaus that is here in Broward County. Now, I say that's the heavy lift because the current appointed tax collector doesn't do that. We're going to be, the statute requires us to do that. When you have a constitutionally elected tax collector, that's part of your responsibility. And we're going to not only embrace it, we're going to make it work. One of the things that I've been telling people is I'm going to be the type of tax collector that go out in the community, that takes the benefits and the issues to the community. You know, my opponents may say they're going to do that, but they don't have any experience of doing that. As your state legislature, when we had restoration of rights, I know about having forums and bringing the issue to the people and helping them to get accomplished what can be accomplished. And that takes a lot of things, but it takes leadership, it takes relationships, and it takes a vision. And that's what I'm going to bring to this office. And I look forward to serving the people of Broward County.
Well, you are certainly well-rounded, and you certainly have a ton of experience at all levels of, government. And being a tax collector here in Broward County or anywhere in the state of Florida for that matter, you have to have experience with working with budgets. You know, you're going to be dealing with billions of dollars. I think anywhere between $5 to $7 billion you're going to be dealing with annually. So my question is, what experience do you have with working with budgets?
You know, it's funny you say that because, some people, and look, $5 to $7 billion is nothing to sneeze at. But,
No.
Sir, I've brought that type of money back to Broward County over the time that I've been in Tallahassee. When I went to Tallahassee in 2006, our budget was $97 billion. That's 97 with the B. As the leader for this community, it was my responsibility to make sure Broward County got their fair share. As the leader in the House, I did that. And then by the time I left, I want you to know the budget was $115 billion. So it had gone from 97 to 115. So those type of numbers are not that don't scare me. I know what we need to do with the budget. We will have a well-oiled machine dealing with the budget. As I say, there are good people in the office. We're going to maintain most of those people. But as far as the budget is concerned, the people who sit on our county commission, they know what I was able to do for Broward County in Tallahassee in the budgetary process. One of the things about dealing with budgets in Tallahassee, you had a governor with the line item veto. You can work hard and get things in the budget, and he could just come through and single-handedly take that line item and take all of your hard work and just erase it from the budget. We won't have that here. We're going to be working with our constituents, working with fellow Democrats, working with the 31 municipalities, as well as the taxing districts, to make sure that money is distributed appropriately.
Yeah, I heard you mention the 31 municipalities here, and I heard you mention some of the agencies that you'll be working with as the Broward County Tax Collector. Can you just give us a few of the other ones? I know you said the driver's license. What other agencies will you be working with if elected?
The number one agency that we're going to be working with is the property appraiser. We work hand in hand with the property appraiser. And by the way, Marty Kier is a very good friend of mine. I served with him in Tallahassee, and he's voted for me twice to be the Democratic leader in Tallahassee. And it goes back to what I say about relationships. You're going to need those relationships. I'm going to also be working with the same county commissioner that I'm going to be replacing, who have endorsed me. I'll be working hand in hand with those commissioners. Now, we also have the hospital districts. We distribute the funding to them, as well as those other municipalities and the school board. We'll be helping providing the funding that they need. And I told you I was a proud product of the public school system here in Broward County, but advocate of public and I have awards to show that. So I look forward to working with these individuals. Do I think that everything is going to be hunky-dory and we're not going to have our disagreements? Sure we are. But I'm not coming to them from a perspective of, oh, I used to be an employee of yours and now I want to work with you. I'm coming for them of a position of we've worked together on the same level, and now this is the agency that I'm going to take over and lead.
Right. Right. Okay. One other question. I don't know how many offices they have currently here in Broward County. Tax collector's office. You know, like we live in Deerfield. You know, and for us to pay our taxes or go get a or whatever license we need, I don't think we should have to drive way down to Fort Lauderdale or somebody in Hallandale that needs to drive way up here to Deerfield Beach. If elected, what do you? How would you plan to expand the Broward County Tax Collector's office throughout Broward County? Will you expand the offices?
That's a good question. I live in Central Broward right now too, but I haven't always lived in Central Broward. You know, I was born in Pompano Beach, Florida,
Yes, you were.
I understand individuals in the North County thinking that they're being treated like stepchildren. But we'll put an end to all of that. We're gonna have we're gonna have a facility in Deerfield or somewhere in that north end of the county. We're gonna have something down south, because you're right. Hollywood and Dania and those residents shouldn't have to come to Fort Lauderdale. They're expanding out West Ranches in Miramar, Pembroke Pine. We're gonna make sure that happens. But prior to that, we're going to start having what's called a outreach department. And it'll be a mobile unit that we go and have meetings at the city of Deerfield, talking to people who may have received their first tax certificate where someone paid the taxes on their property because they were not able to, letting them know that that's not the end of the world, that there are things that we can do to make sure that you don't have two more and then be subject to having your property sold at the courthouse steps. You know, this is most people that we know, biggest investment is their property. So the last thing we want to do, and I know there's some speculators out there who look forward to that as an investment, but for these people, this is their lifelong earnings. So we want to make sure we go to them. And, that's something that the tax collector's office has not done. So when you see that mobile unit out there saying we're going to be having a meeting at the city of Deerfield, or we're going to have a meeting at the city of Coral Springs, or at Pompano City Hall, you know that that's Thurston on the move, making sure we take our product to the people, not waiting on them to come to us, and it's easy to say you're going to do that. I notice when I'm out and I'm talking about my vision and what I'm going to do at the next meeting, I hear my opponents saying the same thing. But the problem with it is this: you can regurgitate my message, but you can't regurgitate my relationships and my experience. You see, when we put in place an opportunity for people to have their rights restored, well, I went to this community with that. I was in Deerfield. I was at the Pat Larkin Center, helping people to take advantage of the laws that we had passed. Same thing that we're going to be doing now. Constituent services is interesting. If you're just sitting in the office waiting on people to come to you when they have a problem, you're not going to touch very many people. But when you're able to go out and you're comfortable bringing people from other areas of government, then you can make a difference. And the last thing is that this unit will do is having served, I understand that people will call me all the time with issues that I couldn't do nothing about, because they didn't know if it was a state issue, a municipal issue, a national issue, a federal issue. But I made it a point to tell my people, don't ever just tell people that's not us and we don't do that. You tell them that's not us, and then you figure out where they need to be to get the answers that they want, the answers that they need. And that's the type of service you're going to see from your tax collector.
All right, that's you covered it, man.
Yeah,
well said. So, Wayne, go ahead with your question.
One last thing I want to tell you. I was in Deerfield, and I was talking to some coaches. In our community, sometimes the coaches are out there talking to the kids. They're on the front page. At this new tax collector's office, we're going to be in the lives of the residents from the time those little kids are able to get an ID to play Little League sports or the cheerleading. We're going to be in their lives. We're going to be around in the community. Then when they get their first driver's permit, their temporary permit, we're going to be in their lives then. Then when they get their first car, we're going to be working with them then. When they purchase their first home, and then even at vital statistics. And I say that to say the tax collector's office is going to be vital to our community. It's going to provide many more opportunities for individuals because we're going to be hiring some people as well, but we're also going to be making sure that the services are there, that people don't have to drive all the way to downtown Fort Lauderdale. And we're going to make sure people are served with a smile when they go into the driver's license bureau.
How many more jobs?
And the reason for that is because if they don't, the bus going to be stopping on my door, my desk, and I don't want that to happen.
Right. How many more jobs do you think that the Broward County Tax Collector's Office will generate?
Well, let me just say this. Right now,
That's what I was going to ask too.
We have between 60 to 70, maximum 100. In Palm Beach County, they have 362. And they're a smaller agency than we are. Is that going to happen overnight? No, it's not. But over a period of time, we're going to bring in the type of people that people get an appointment for a tax collector or the driver's license. You're going to know that appointment is going to be there. You're not going to spend all day waiting on service that you should be able to get easily. And we're going to make sure it's done correctly.
Yeah, and that was one of the questions I was going to ask too, Mr. Thurston, was how would you alleviate these long lines? And I know, you got to get there first, but I was just thinking right now, just how would you, because every time it seems like you go to the driver's license office in any of these municipalities, the line is usually out the door.
Wrapped around the corner.
I mean, how would you, and I have seen no one yet that was able to do it. How would you alleviate the long lines in the municipalities? Like here in Deerfield, we had an office and they closed that down. It seems like we need to be opening up more offices instead of closing them down to make it more convenient for people to get in and out. That's what folks are upset about, I believe.
And they have a right to be upset. I'm upset too. I've been in some of those lines before. I remember when I was out of the country and I misplaced my license, and my secretary, my aide, when I was in the legislature, made a call and made things happen and was able to get me a license and to get it all the way to where I was at out of the country. Well, she said to me, it shouldn't be this way for you. It should be this way for everybody. Everybody should be able to get their business taken care of. So let me just explain this to you. Those are state employees right now. When I become tax collector, they're no longer going to be state employees. They're going to work for the tax collector's office. And we're going to make sure they understand that we're looking for service with a smile. We may have to pay a little more. We may have to bring in more people. But whatever we do, we're going to make sure that the office is run effectively and that people don't have to stand in those lines and they can get an appointment, and that appointment will be honored. I happen to have served, and this goes back to what I said, this office is going to be about relationships. It's going to be about leadership, and it's going to be about a vision. I happen to have served with Ann Gannon in Palm Beach County. I served with Richardson. I served with Randolph he's the tax collector out in Scott Randolph. He's the tax collector out in the Tampa area. So I'm talking to them. I'm talking to Willie Roberts up in Daytona, the most recent convert of a appointed tax collector to an elected tax collector. So they're explaining to me, I'm looking at how communities do it and do it right and do it well. So we're not going to have to reinvent the wheel. We may have to pay people more. We may have to hire more people to make sure that it's being done right. But the technology is there. We're going to make sure we have the best of the technology, and we're going to bring in additional people if we have to. But the service that other communities get, we're going to have that, and we're going to have the best of the best.
Yes, and also, Mr. Thurston, how do you know how much the actual budget is in that office you will be overseeing?
5 to 7.
Well, the budget is going to be determined by the value of the properties in Broward County. So we're going to have a larger budget than most other counties. But right now, the budget in the tax collector's office is determined by the county commission. The county commissioner will not be setting our budget. The Department of Revenue will oversee our budget. That's just like they oversee the budget of the property appraiser. So there was a bill passed long ago to make sure that it's sort of like if you have the county over the budget, then you got the chicken covering the hen house. But we're gonna something like that. But so we're gonna make sure that that's not the case. Our budget will be set by the Department of Revenue, and it's going to be based on a percentage of the value of the properties in Broward County, which may probably one of the largest budgets in the state.
Yes, and you know, I hear you talking about the county setting the budget. That's another question. How would party politics play into your job as Broward County Tax Collector? Would it play any way, shape, or form? And I know most of them are Democrats on the county commission, but would party politics?
That's correct. Well, politics plays a part in everything, as you know. But I think that, I've had an opportunity to work in Tallahassee with nothing but Republican leadership. So I don't have a problem being a strong Democrat and working with others. But I don't think just because each of the county commissioners have already endorsed me, I don't think it's going to be a hunky-dory type of relationship. There's going to be some pushback. There's going to be some give and take. But when you're dealing with people you've already dealt with, it's going to make it that much easier. But party politics will play a role. I mean, you would think with all of these Democratic municipalities, people would get along a lot better. But when you're dealing with power and slicing up a cake that's limited, it's always going to be some issues. But we're going to be fighting for the people. I go to some churches and I'm talking about being the tax collector. The first thing I do is get a side eye from the minister talking about tax collectors. I have to remind them that Matthew was a tax collector also, not just the bad tax collectors. There are some good ones. We're going to be a tax collector for the people. We're going to be making sure that everything we do inures to the benefit of the residents of Broward County.
That's good. That is good. And we're talking right now to former Florida State Senator Perry Thurston and Florida House Representative Perry Thurston. And Mr. Thurston, we wish you good luck. Is there anything else you would like to add? And Darryl, you have anything else?
The primary election. Yep. Is August 20th, and I believe it's called Amendment 10. Am I correct, Mr. Thurston?
Well, I don't know. Amendment 10 is what put it on the ballot.
Put it on the ballot.
Now that it is, the legislature mandated that all counties have to have an elected tax collector. And not only that, like you look at Dade County, they've got a big thing going on. This is their first time having an elected sheriff. Right. Can you imagine out here in Broward, we've had sheriff for years. Yeah. But there are two little things that I want to put on.
Okay.
Just discuss with you. Even though you said it's August 20th, early voting starts August 10th. So if you want to vote for me, and that's voting anywhere across the county, let's start out with voting early. And they've tried to change the laws with those absentee ballots. So make sure that your absentee ballot request is in. And if you need any help with that, you can always come see me at Perry Thurston 2024. That's the webpage. Just go to perrythurston2024.com and you can get any information that you need. Also, if you call me at that number, 767-6400, you can always get me and you can always get a return call. Now, the last thing I want you to know is this. There are people in this community who interview and look at candidates all the time. So along with having the endorsement of the every county commission who is endorsed, I also just received the endorsement 2 days ago from the AFL-CIO, and there's 625,000 members here. I've received the endorsement of the International Longshoremen Association. I've worked with these individuals. They know the type of quality leadership that I bring to the table. I'm confident if you keep following me, you're going to see that there's going to be a number of other organizations as they go through and interview us. They're going to know who can provide this service. There's some people who may be going around saying, oh, I've been doing this job. I've been doing the job. Well, a professor of mine in law school always says to me that you can change the whole statute by putting one word in, not, and, or. When people say I've been doing this job, they're not talking about the tax collector's job. They've been doing a job. So a job is different from the job. Now, I'm not applying for a job. I'm applying to lead. And that's why the individuals who are doing the job right now, the county commission, have all endorsed me to be the next tax collector with the vision, the leadership, the relationships, and the knowledge of constituent service that it's going to take to make this a world-class office.
Okay. I was just going to say it. You pretty much covered a lot, but I was going to give you 3 minutes for you to tell everybody out here in Broward County who's going to be voting for you why you should be elected the tax collector. But you pretty much covered it. But if there's anything else you want to add to it, be my guest.
Well, I want them to know that I've covered it. But if you look at the parties who are involved in this process, they covered it too when they endorsed me to be the one to lead this office. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be a challenge that will inure to the benefit of every resident in Broward County.
All right.
And also, if you win, we told all the candidates that if you win, do not be a stranger. Come back to Black Media. We have the problem. I think once people get elected, we ask them to come back. Most of them come back now, but you don't be a stranger. You always welcome here on the Adams Brothers Podcast. We had you on here before years ago, and you are more than welcome to come back anytime in the future, Mr. Thurston. If you have a message, if you win, and if you want to get a message out, you're always welcome to come back here on the Adams Brothers Podcast and share any information with us.
You have a platform.
Look, I appreciate that invitation, and I'm going to take you up on it because it's not going to be if I win, it's when I win. So I'll be back, and I look forward to it.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We've been talking to Mr. Perry Thurston. He is a candidate for the new position here in the Broward County, the Broward County Tax Collector's Office. And
we wish you well.
Voting starts on August the 10th, and the primary election is on the 20th. And Mr. Thurston, is asking for your vote. Good luck to you, sir. And I'm sure we'll see you out on the campaign trail somewhere here in Broward County.
We like to get you at our church. Greater Bethel AME Church. That's in Deerfield under the leadership of Pastor Clarence Honor. We would love for you to come there and speak to our congregation there. I can get you all the information if you want to come. I can get you the information to our pastor, and you can come and talk if you choose to between here and August.
Get it to me, and I'll be there. I was out in Deerfield at the Radiant Church.
Pastor Pelt.
Pastor Pelt, that's right. So I'm available. You tell me when, and you'll see me there.
I will get you the information, and I'll leave that to you and Pastor Honor to hash it out.
Give me the information. I can take it from there.
Good enough.
I will send it to you as when we off the air. We're gonna do something else, but I'll get you the information before this evening.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to all your viewers.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right.
And
Have a great
thank you.
Have a great day.
You
You
too.
too.
Have a great evening.